Spurs in the Champions League. There is something about those games. There is something about the anthem in Europe that does something to Spurs. Are we? Let me not say it. Let me not say it. And why is this mic playing about? Tottenham Hotspur in the Champions League. We keep riding on. Hello guys, it's your boy here, Manny from Designated Hotspur. Welcome back to my channel. But yeah, let's get the formalities out of the way, guys. Just like the channel, like the video, subscribe, hype, share. I'm still 20 subscribers away from 1K. So please smash the like, subscribe so that I can actually hit that target. We've got 3 days left, I think, or 2 days left till the end of the month. Can we get to 1K by the end of this month? Let us see. But guys, listen, I am so happy to be back here after a positive result and a positive performance. Who knew that the team could put 3 positive performances in a row? Who knew that? Who knew that our players were not as rubbish as many people make it out to be? But it was encouraging, guys. It was encouraging. And there is something about the European nights that does something to these players, whether it's psychologically, whether it's from a physical perspective, mental perspective. I'm not entirely sure. But that game, we imposed ourselves on that game. We did. We imposed ourselves on that game. But before I get into it, let us look at the 5 things that we have learned from Tottenham to Frankfurt 0. Well, the first thing we've learned is that when we press high as a team, rather than invite pressure, this team can be useful. Now, Thomas Frank set us up in initially what I thought was a 4-2-3-1 formation, but actually turned up to be a 3 at the back formation with Palhinha slotting into the 3rd centre-back role, Danso in the left centre-back role, and Romero in the middle, with Udogie and Spence pushing up both with the ball and without the ball. Sarr and Gray, who had actually a very decent game, in the middle. And then Xavi Simons, Odobert, Xavi Simons on the left, Odobert on the right, left 10 for Xavi Simons, right 10 for Odobert, and Kolo Muani up top. Now, there was a lot of talk about Frank starting Kolo Muani, but that paid off. His faith in Kolo paid off because Kolo scored a very, very good goal from a perspective of being a striker. But I think the main thing that stood out in our display was how high we pressed. We pressed the keeper. We pressed the right centre back. We pressed the left centre back. We did not give them any room to breathe, and that paid dividends because even before we scored the goal, we had many chances. We had Xavi Simons' chance. We had there were loads of chances that we had, that we created from a perspective of maybe there might have not been clear chances that were out there after, but we could have scored had we had a little bit, or had we shown a little bit more quality. And when you look at the momentum tracker on SofaScore, you can clearly see that our dominance was throughout the game. We had very little spells of Frankfurt. And let me caveat, obviously, that Frankfurt have not been doing very well. They've sacked their coach. They haven't hired a permanent coach yet. And they're without Ekitike, right? Who was the main goal scorer last season. And I think they were without their current main striker as well. But you can only play who's in front of you. I do not subscribe to the notion that people were peddling last season, saying the Europa League was easy and this and that. No game is easy. Look at Bodo Glimt. Look at Bodo Glimt in the last 2 games. Beat City, beat Atletico Madrid. No game is easy. And Atletico Madrid was away from home, by the way. So we actually imposed ourselves in the game, shown in the attacking momentum chart that is on SofaScore. Absolutely brilliant. And actually what happened was I was really looking at the game thinking, right, I've seen this before in the first half. And then in the second half, we've sat back. So let me see what Frank is going to do this time round, or what the instruction is going to be this time round to the players. And guys, I have to say, we kept on doing it. We kept on pressing. You had Saar pressing, and they were interchanging in the press. So if someone went up pressing, the other, so say for example, if Xavi went on to press the goalkeeper, he gave the signal to Saar to cover him and close the passing channels that would have been available due to Xavi's press. Like, it was cohesive. They all knew what they were doing, and it was instructed. That was a massive, massive, massive kudos to the manager. Sorry, guys. Second thing that we learned from the game is that Xavi Simons in the left-hand role is more suited than Xavi Simons at left wing. Xavi Simons in that left-hand role, which is a free role to roam about, is much more suited than Xavi Simons left on the 10 on the left. And you could see it. You could see he was up for it. You could see he was dropping in. So the first 30, 40 minutes, you could see him drop into the pocket on the left-hand side, sometimes coming as deep as the defensive line, and then at times dropping into the right-hand side where he was not supposed to be, right? That was a free roll, and it was really, really encouraging, and he ended up getting an 8.1 SofaScore score. That doesn't sound right. But in any case, his game score was 8.1. And that was because Xavi Simons came in looking for the ball, got the ball, made the ball tick, kept releasing the ball, driving into the game as well. I have to say, if there was something that I did not see, was how good Xavi Simons is when he is really on it. And I have to hold my hands up and say I got it wrong from that perspective. He is really, really good and really, really effective when he really wants to be. Now, is it application or is it instructions that sometimes makes his performances drop? I'm not entirely sure, but it's encouraging. It's encouraging because it means that when Maddison comes back, he has someone to interchange and play with. And that's all we want. That's all we want. That's all we need. The third thing that we've learned is that Danso, he's actually a very good third centre-back to have. Because you might not want Danso to play week in, week out. You might not want that. However, when he does play, he really slots in perfectly. And I say this purely because I do remember like it was yesterday when Dragusin used to have to slot in a centre-back to cover either Danso Romero being injured last season, or Van de Ven being injured. And I'm not talking about the run of games he had. Just when he had to slot in, he did not look comfortable on the ball. He did not look comfortable on the ball. With Danso, as long as you're not asking him to play the ball into the channels, right? Picking up the midfield and the pocket, and you're asking him to recycle the ball left and right and actually defend, he's a decent player. He's a decent centre-back backup. And he is the kind of player that he's not going to kick up a fuss and get upset for being on the bench. So that is a huge, huge advantage that we have. And his score on SofaScore was 7.2. A 7.2 SofaScore rating he got. And that was wonderful. That was wonderful. The fourth thing I will say we've learned is that these players can actually be consistent, which is what some of us have been saying for a long time. We played Dortmund and played very well. Very well, very good first half. Second half, we might have dropped off, but we seem to be in control of the game, especially with them being going down to 9 men. Burnley, as I said in my last video, was disappointing. It was disappointing, but in terms of the actual play, we created chances that we should have buried. And then now, in this game last night against Frankfurt, you can see why some of us have been banging on about a change in approach to the games. Because these players, maybe not against the likes of Arsenal or Chelsea or Liverpool or City, and we're not asking for that. But when we are a better team than the team that we're playing, we should be able to impose ourselves. We should impose ourselves on the game. And that's what we did yesterday. And that's what we've been doing for the past 3 games. And even if you take the Burnley game out, the distance between the Dortmund game and this game yesterday was a week. So if you're playing week in, week out, that would have been 2 consistent performances. So people should stop telling me that these players are so bad that we should have 0 expectations of them and should have 0 accountability towards the manager. Let no one tell me that anymore, because these players can play, and clearly when Frank wants, he can set them up to attack better and to impose themselves on the opposition team, especially if we're a better team than them. So please, stop it. And finally, the final thing that I would like to say that is not more something that we've learned, but more something that is more an opinion that I have at the moment, is I do think that the Dortmund game, Burnley game, and Frankfurt game has earned Frank a chance to go through February without being judged on results, even though I will still comment on the performances, but for him to be judged in March when our run of games against these tougher positions that we have in February is done. And all I want from Thomas Frank is to set the team properly and give them the right instructions, especially against the teams that we should be imposing ourselves on. That is all. That is all I'm asking for, guys. I'm not asking him to be every single top 6 team that comes in. What I'm asking him is to be braver. Be brave and try and repair your relationship with the fans if you want to even stand the chance of being or staying on next season. I have to, say one thing, which is probably negative shout out, but I want to say that Jed Spence I don't know what it is about Jed Spence's performances lately, but I feel like Porro being injured is a big blow. It's a big blow for us because I don't feel like Spence is very comfortable on the ball. So you practically need to have him as far away from the goal as possible lately, because he gives away the ball to the opposition way too much. But listen, guys, that's something that we can probably talk about later down the line. We got our next game on a Sunday against City. I will be at the stadium. If you do see me, say hi. I will say hi if I recognize anybody. And then the following week, I will be on my first away game against Manchester United. My first away trip. And I will be vlogging it. I will be interviewing or asking a few questions to a few people, such as Lubo, if he is there, etc. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, again, do not forget, guys, please, especially if you've got to this point, thank you so much for all the support that I've received. For all the people that like me and that don't like me, I know I'm a bit like Marmite. Sometimes people get so infuriated with me, but hey ho, that is me. I will never change. But please smash the like. Please subscribe. And let's hit our goal of 1K, hopefully this month. Come on, you Spurs.